Good morning, my beautiful people out here in Westwood, West Side LA today. I was going to go play some tennis, but we got some rain this morning, which hasn't happened in quite a while. So instead of being upset at the rain that I couldn't play tennis, I'm enjoying the lovely weather and moist grass in a little park next to us. And today's topic, what I want to talk about a little bit, is usually a big one for a lot of us, one that sometimes, especially me in the past, I've kind of put to the side and acted like I didn't need to do it, I didn't need to visit this kind of area of my life. And that is forgiveness. Forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of all kind of things. And as I was pondering a little bit, on my walk before I actually hopped on record here, I was like thinking, what actually is forgiveness? What is it to me? Or at the very least, when did I start to understand forgiveness on my terms? And for me, in my path, which everyone has their own path, that came with understanding. That came with growing up. That came with understanding the universe, humans, reality, different emotions, and honoring and respecting the fact that everyone is allowed to have their own opinions, their own thoughts, their own emotions, regardless if they're in direct conflict with mine or not. A lot of times, the people or the ones that are in direct conflict, matter of fact, are the places that you grow the most, that I've grown the most, is facing conflict or conflicting thoughts or beliefs directly in my face. So forgiveness. My path, my journey, growing up from 11 to 17, I had a huge chip on my shoulders. I was sent around to boot camps and military schools by my parents. I was treated not how I guess I wanted to be treated at those places. My attitude was as of such that I continued to attract that into my life as well for years after that. But as I grew up and got older and frankly more things happened in my life, I realized really quickly that I couldn't just stay mad at everybody, at everything for that long. It's just too energy consuming, too time consuming. And that point really hit home maybe a couple months ago when there was basically a business person attacking me from India, attacking my business, attacking me, attacking my ex-wife, my personal nature, everything in the whole circle. And definitely did start to get upset. When he first called me at 2 a.m., I definitely had a few choice words back for him. I guess that old reaction Rocky came up for a second. And then I kind of slowed down, and I got to a place where I could smile and send him love and literally be like, brother, I don't know what's going on with you. I know you're having some issues. I hope everything gets better. I wish you well. I cannot actually put any more of my time and energy into, being berated by you. So I'm going to just wish you well and leave now. And, all these Google reviews and Yelp reviews and videos he was putting out that, my father, other business people and people around me, and people even message me like, oh, this is a big deal. You got to get rid of this. Oh, have you seen this? Like, oh, man, damn, like, blah, blah, blah. I let it kind of roll off my shoulders with the knowledge that this person could have once been me 5 years ago. Actually, probably was me 5 years ago. And being one of the hottest heads out there, one of the biggest people that could hold on to a grudge forever, I knew that it couldn't last forever. I knew that intensity and that amount of hatred could not sustain itself in a human being, which, in my opinion, in my belief, human beings are all made of love and joy and pure, bliss anyway. It's as we go along through life that we lose that and we start looking for other things or, things that society, other people want us to do. So yeah, that being said, I let go of it. And, things turned out better than I could have ever imagined for without paying for a lawyer, without attacking him, without calling his people and getting involved in the mix. It worked out good. One quote I keep in mind that's just out of all the YouTube videos and books that I've been reading the last couple of years that sticks out with me is one by Mother Teresa, actually. She was asked to come march against the Vietnam War by some people. And she declined. She said, no, I will not march against the Vietnam War. However, when you do have a war for peace, instead of against anything, then I will march for that. And I think Dr. Wayne Dyer said it the best when he said that anytime you're seduced into fighting, anytime you are fighting against something and going against something, you're weaker as a result of it. And that may be a very just thing, right? Like it may be like you're standing up for women's rights or, so many other things and you're marching against it. But all the more, and I feel this energetic transfer, you usually are weaker in the end for it. It takes away from you rather than builds you. Now, instead of being against women being mistreated, you could simply be, for women's rights. You can simply say, I believe this, and I'm for women being paid equal salary, or women not being harassed in the workplace, or women having the choice to do what they want to do with their bodies. And you can find ways to not have to kind of be seduced into this, I am this, I am that, I am better, I am right mentality the entire fucking world has going on right now. And that's why you see so many different gurus and marketing and coaching and this and that, and which is good, because at least it's in a good direction. However, like everyone wants to say that this way is the way to do it, this way is right. And that's one thing I've really liked about the wellness and meditation and coaching field is that versus other businesses I've ran, you don't see too many people saying this is the only way to do it, or you have to be like this, or my way is right. There's a lot more collaboration and flexibility in there, which is right on par and point for my life. So yeah, back to forgiveness. The people that crushed my face and broke my jaw and have me go teethless for 2 years of my life and go to prison like that with no teeth and take bone out of my skull to put it in my mouth to build it back up. Yeah, man, I was angry at them for a while. I remember when it first happened, I would drive by their neighborhoods and just think of like ways to get them back and to violently even, hurt them. And yeah, eventually after that, for actions I'd already made, I ended up in prison. I ended up going through a lot of other things, in life, and for everything from an ex-girlfriend killing herself to leaving the country to all kind of small things. And sorry, there's a little squirrel walking up to me right now. Hey, buddy, I don't have any food. Anyway, so yeah, I eventually, and I don't even honestly remember the exact point. Like I didn't actually say it out loud probably. Maybe it was when I was in prison, I started to get to a point of quietness for the first time in my life, maybe, reflection. And I was like, you know what? I don't even know these people anymore. They don't know me. And holding on to being angry at them and plotting and planning all this BS is literally just tearing me inside and holding me back from anything else. And it's time to let go of it. I never had to physically, or never did physically, and I don't think it's something that's in my calling or my flow to do so either. Go apologize to them. I simply understood the situation for what it was. And this is hard to say still, but I've came to a point to realize that the guys that did this probably didn't mean to hurt me as much as they did. I'm not making an excuse for them or saying whatever, but I don't think they meant to hurt me as bad as it turned out, Regardless, I don't feel a need to go apologize to them. I do feel a need to clear that energy within myself and move past it, and I did that. And even, speaking of my parents who, they sent me to boot camps and military schools, which was obviously for my own good. And I knew that back then, and I know it now as well. But it took that journey of growing up myself, of caring for another individual and trying to do for them, to finally see that, people can want to do the best for you and have the best intentions for you and still fuck everything up. And that's not a reflection on them. That's just part of the world, the universe, part of what had to happen. The places I went, were horrible, traumatic, rape, torture, physicalness, brainwashing, brainstorming, mind games, like craziness. So yeah, a lot of my brothers and sisters who we call ourselves survivors now are still, very, very upset at their parents and righteously so. Like I said, it was a very traumatic experience. And I don't even know if I'm the right person to talk to them about this, but I have realized that holding on to that will get us nowhere. Really understanding that they did try to do the best for us, that they are parents and they're humans and they made mistakes. Maybe they didn't even want the best for us. But that is part of our story, what we went through. And we're here after we've made it past it. We have won 10 out of 10 times in our past. We are still alive and breathing here today. So there's no reason to stay in that same mindset. Learn from it, take what we can from it, remember it, of course, but understanding is the priority. Understanding why you felt the way you did, why things happened, why the universe and other people are going to act that way. And the simple reason is it's all in divine order. I'm not the biggest, quote unquote religious God person, but I do believe there is a higher energy that definitely connects us all, and that definitely would account for these things that are seemingly so tragedies, turn out for me in any way be one of my biggest blessings and one of my biggest abilities to help and share with people and kids especially. And I'm not even at the point where I'm speaking it to kids. I just know that story, that mentality, and me, the anger I had, and also letting that anger out was part of it for me, is a powerful story. And I think Abraham Hicks I was listening to, she says also, you don't have to feel bad for being angry and holding on to those things. It is something you do, however, need to move through. Cry it out, scream it out. For me, don't do it my way. I mean, I got violent. I went to military school, to prisons. I literally thought it was like me against the world. At a certain point, my anger and my built up, chips on my shoulders and so forth had built up so much. That's what started, presenting itself in my life. And to quote Wayne Dyer once again, what he says is this, and it's really interesting to hear because it's very true, very simple, and it kind of hits you in your face. He says, when people squeeze us, when people bother us, the only thing that we put out, right, when that happens, is what's already inside of us. Which is, it's a hard pill to swallow, because I don't want to call myself upset or mad or violent or this and that. I don't call myself that anymore, and I don't have that kind of violence or anger within me. And guess what? I don't get it. It doesn't happen to me anymore. Of course, we all slip back here and there. There's certain things people can say at certain times that would still, set me off. And it's a journey. I'm still working on my journey. But, back then especially, someone would kind of squeeze me a little bit or cut me off in traffic or look at me the wrong way. And out of my mouth comes extreme hatred, violence, profanity, threats even, that's all within me. Back then especially, I felt threatened at every day, at every corner, at every person that had any type of possible authority over me. I had anger from everything that happened. I had anxiety about all of that as well. So anytime any situation occurred, that was what I was vibrating at and putting out. And that was what I was receiving back. I think Abraham Hicks said it about how when we're unhappy, when we're in these states of unforgiveness and anger, it's not going to feel good. And that's our inner body, our inner human, our inner soul telling us hey, these thoughts and these actions and what you're doing right now is not aligned with who you truly are inside. So you need to find a way through discussion, through quietness, through meditation, through whatever it is for you to kind of work through it. There's a lot of people talk about energy levels, Frederick Dotson and many others. There's always a process. There's always you don't just get to be like, hey, I'm angry, this is not good, and we're changing it right now. If that works for you, that's awesome. Props, you know what I mean? But many of us have kind of a process. We have to work through it. We have to feel that emotion and then look for the understanding behind it. And then look for, within and see who we really are, and do these emotions and thoughts actually line up with who we are and who we want to be and who we strive to be every day, and who our souls and our even our inner child, to use program terminology, really would want for us. As children, it was so simple. We did what we want, we enjoyed, we didn't really care about monies and this and that and relationships. It was all, love and family and enjoyment every day and bliss. And I got to a point where, I finally changed parts of my life, stopped selling dope and stopped partying so much and stopped being out and about all the time. But I also got so serious and so much on my business tip that I was still going fucking crazy in my head. Literally, I was still waking up in the bathroom, going to the bathroom and crying, and then coming out and trying to wipe my face and smile at the day, and I wasn't just allowing myself to be free and kiddish and goofy, which is my nature as a kid, even as a teen, until everything all the life stuff started coming in my life, like I was very just laid back and chill and just like to have fun. When I started getting in trouble and started dealing drugs and started getting in fights and bad relationships, a lot of that went away. And a lot of it went towards looking like something and being something that people around me either wanted me to be or that I thought they wanted me to be. So now the last month now, I've been experimenting with it for a year, but the last month I've really just been like, you know what? I'm going to just relax and be me, do me, not worry about what the next person's going to think, say, or feel. I'm not doing anything that's going to hurt anybody around me. Just being goofy and free and chill and laid back. Handling my business, but doing it just more chill and slow. I'm playing tennis. I'm going to see buddies here and there. I'm going for walks. I'm dancing randomly with my girlfriend, even though I feel retarded doing it sometimes. Just being free and following what's in front of me and what my soul really is called to do. And the only way to find that out, right? Obviously, you can't be mad at the world or yourself to do that, but you have to try it. Right? You have to try do things, try new things, play the piano, go painting, go walking, try 10 different classes in your area, try to travel here, try to travel there. You got to do things, different things, and you'll find your way. You'll find a calling. You'll find peace. You'll find joy. You'll find love within all that. But if you're just sitting still, you're just staying angry, you're not going to do it. One of the biggest things when it comes to forgiveness that I thought, I was already done and clear with, is forgiving ourselves. It's forgiving ourselves for, whatever mistakes we think we made, whatever decisions we think we made, whatever people we hurt along the way, and some of us, myself included, have hurt a lot of people badly, that doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, because it's definitely important. We don't want to be out there hurting people. But we've made it past that, right? And we're at this point where we're listening to podcasts like these. We're taking in knowledge and information about the universal soul and the world and love and connection and God and peace and energy. We have to forgive ourselves for those times. We have to truly be like, hey, Rocky, you did the best with what you knew how to do back then. You didn't show up the best, but you don't ever have to do that again either. And for me, that was the toughest. For me, my family, my dad, they really tough on me and really tough on themselves. Indian culture, push it till you're a doctor that's making $1 billion a year. And then, study habits and discipline, blah, blah. If you're Indian or Asian, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, so a month ago or 2 months ago, actually, I went with my coach on a nature retreat, and we went out to the mountains, to the woods together. Did a couple things and, centering and aligning, balances and stuff. And one of the things we did was he wanted me, because we're outside in the open desert and forest, to just scream, let like a tiger roar out. So I started screaming and for a couple minutes, and I noticed, I was like, shit, I have tears in my eyes. And then I looked over to my right and noticed my coach looking at me, not like in shock or amazement, but he was definitely like somber, sober-faced, just kind of looking at me. And he said, Rocky, what came up? What's up? I was screaming like anger, warrior cry versus anything like, a proud lion. I was just, letting out years and years of shit in me. And I realized right then that it wasn't towards anybody else. There's no other person that I was upset at, angry with, had a grudge against, had hate for. Not my parents, not the people that almost killed me, not any ex-girlfriends that stole or hurt me, anything. Not the police. It was me. I was disappointed that I even let myself get in those situations, that I let myself think differently in the past, that I was mad at me still. And that, to this day, it's something I'm still struggling with, but I've definitely moved on the other side of. But for the next hour, he asked me to walk around and 2 hours, I think, meditate and just think and come up with a list of all the things I needed to forgive myself with. And we took that list and read it over a fire that we had burning after a meal we had out there in the woods, camping. And it's a small thing. Sometimes as humans, we need these rituals and these certain ways, things that happen to help us see and understand and kind of symbolize what we're going through, what we're feeling, and what we're trying to get to. And for me, that helped. For me, it's still in my mind, all the small things like that I need to forgive myself for. but I'm so conscious of it now that I realize, like, when I start to get angry for no reason or start to feel down for no reason, it's usually one of those things. And as I was saying before about moving into this new life and actually getting to a place where living like I'm living now, being able to do whatever I want to do at any time of the day, at any time of the night, travel across the world and live beautifully and eat good, stay at nice places, go on activities, go jet skiing, go mountain climbing, go to the zoo, go on safari. There's a lot of things we have to do, take steps, especially if you come from the background I did. Prison, rehab, jail, boot camp, military schools, violence, trauma, dope, selling drugs, doing drugs, getting robbing, getting shot at, stabbed, all kind of craziness. The first thing, in my opinion, is a lot of it has to do with ridding yourself of distractions and finding a place of quietness and peace on your own. And then it comes to reflection and understanding. And that, like I said before, goes hand in hand with forgiveness. It's time to let go of anything and everything that could ever hold us back or doesn't serve us. And that includes the thoughts we have in our mind about ourselves and about others as well. So yeah, my beautiful people, I'm gonna leave y'all with that today. I'm heading back inside. I got an appointment in about 20 minutes at the office, and I'm loving it, man. My office is about the 5-minute walk from my apartment. I'm in a beautiful area of West LA, trees and greens and parks all around me. Blessed, man. That's all I can say. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Peace and love to all of you out there that decided to tune in. Maybe hit me up in the DM or hit me up on the phone or leave a message on the podcast and let me know if there's something else you don't want to discuss or want me to talk about. And I definitely will do that. If you have time, please, please, please share this channel. Go like and subscribe. And if you buy me a coffee and you live in LA, you better come have it with me. Peace, y'all. Have a great day. Love.